Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, following a couple of weeks of outright lambasting by US lawmakers, Facebook's Libra crypto project appears to be cracking at the seams before it even gets off the ground. A fresh round of regulatory pressure has piled on this week from concerned countries around the world. In the 2 months following the social media giant's announcement of its crypto ambitions to become effectively the world's largest bank, the pressure against it has mounted. According to reports, data protection and privacy authorities in the US, UK, European Union, and Canada and Australia have issued a joint statement sharing concerns about Facebook's foray into digital assets. And in a recent announcement, the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner and the United Kingdom Information Commissioner's Office jointly called for more information from the web monopoly on how the Libra network would secure and protect personal information. This is usually one of the main things, and I'll tell you exactly what I think is also happening. So I've seen a bit of a shift the last 2 weeks, in my opinion, from what I've been seeing about lawmakers whenever they talk about Facebook and cryptocurrencies, or rather Facebook and Libra more specifically. A lot of what they usually end up saying is that in the very beginning is that they didn't like the idea of Libra. They didn't like the idea of them becoming a bank. They didn't like the idea of Libra potentially being a concern for the US dollar. Somewhere around that, what I think ended up happening is that they didn't get enough public negative sentiment against it. So what a lot of lawmakers have been saying now, and this isn't me boasting about how great Facebook is. I also hate Facebook, but I've noticed that the rhetoric has changed dramatically from lawmakers. What they now make sure to say out loud is that Libra may be insecure or that it may not secure or protect personal information. Why are they saying this? Because about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I'm sure everyone remembers there was a really big issue where people figured out, my goodness, that Facebook was actually using everyone's information to make money off of it, and they were just stealing the information from billions of people around the world. And when people ended up finding out on Facebook, I'm sure you remember, Mark Zuckerberg was sat before Congress and the Senate again and said, "I'm so sorry, we had no idea this was all going on," when they knew good and well exactly what was going on. And I don't know if it was happening to you, but many places that I was visiting around the world, multiple places, there were ads on bus stations, train stations, tram stations, in the sky, on the sides of buildings, where it was like, now with better protection for you. Like they had all these ads that made sure that let you know, oh, we're so sorry and we won't ever do it again. So I think in order to get public sentiment behind them, because I think Facebook would have stopped Libra in general if more everyday people had caused more of a ruckus. But a lot of people simply don't care because they just assume that it's something similar to PayPal or to so-and-so. And it's just Facebook. It's simple, harmless Facebook. Who really cares? I've had discussions with people before about Facebook siphoning off their information. And they're like, yeah, but I'm a good person. It doesn't matter. I don't really post anything that crazy. And they're like, well, do you send like crazy personal messages? Yeah, but Facebook can't read that. And you sit there like with your eyes rolling in the back of your head. Anyway, Australian Information and Privacy Commissioner Angeline Falk said, and I do quote, "This is an important step in a global regulatory movement that is holding online companies to account for how they handle personal information. Given that many initiatives taking place in our finance and technology sector, privacy must be a key component of any significant digital initiative such as Libra," end quote. The joint statement added that the company has failed to specifically, there we go, address the information handling practices that will be in place to secure and protect personal information. The concerns are unsurprising considering the firm's involvement in recent scandals involving data privacy, there we go, and online security. I also have a feeling, and I'm pretty sure a couple people will go, yep, the moment I say this. I've noticed maybe this is not happening in your country, but most places that I have lived, I've seen that usually politicians end up getting caught in some type of a scandal in some sort of way, and it's because someone like goes through their Facebook, goes through their so-and-so, and kind of goes through their social media platforms, and they realize that they ended up saying something heinous or inappropriate or something that they probably shouldn't have been saying to another colleague. And I've always felt in the back of my head that a large part of this, especially with all the people who are screaming the loudest against Facebook, probably are afraid of Facebook maybe knowing the things that they buy or the things that they've bought, the things that they're buying for someone else, or who they're talking to. I don't know. There's just one little snippet of things. That's kind of how my brain works. I always try to dig a bit deeper to realize exactly why someone is saying what they're saying. Anyway, here's the actual information from the Australian government. From the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner, here it is right here. It says, OAIC joins with the global privacy regulators to call for more information from the Libra network. And it kind of goes on, so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure you know exactly what it says. What I've also noticed, and I'm not sure if anyone has taken notice or account of this over the last couple of weeks, in the very beginning, a lot of people were very adamant that they didn't like Facebook, they didn't like cryptocurrencies, and they didn't like Libra. What I said was kind of weird is that there was so much money behind it. I felt like you can easily, as a politician or anyone out there who has a significant amount of power, come forward and say, I hate this, it should not happen, but at the same exact time, hand them money on the side to make sure that you are also protected. Kind of exactly what Jamie Dimon did and many of the other bankers, institutions. You can find all the articles back from 2014, 15, 16, and especially 2017. Bitcoin's a fraud, Bitcoin's a fake, hate Bitcoin, gold is better than Bitcoin, blah, 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 Bitcoin, over and over and over. And then we find out in 2018, they've all been buying Bitcoin the entire time. And some of them even told us, yeah, we over the last 4 years have been buying Bitcoin. And it's like, well, that's really weird. I can definitely find an article about you hating it. So what I've been seeing myself or articles starting to pop up like this from a website called Government Technology. It said, could Facebook's Libra be a good thing for the economy? This one over here says, Facebook's Libra is a good idea with a lot of risks. I'm slowly seeing a morph, if you will, to a bit more of a, well, Libra's not that bad. It just has to be regulated. And it's like, well, almost cursed. You can regulate a pile of crap, but it's still a pile of crap. I have believed for a long amount of time. I mean, we've only known about Libra for a couple of weeks at this point, but I'm fairly certain there's something interesting happening behind the scenes where there's too much money for big players to not have their hand in the cookie jar, if that kind of makes any sense. I was discussing yesterday, I think we were also talking about Libra. I forgot the exact topic as to what we were talking about Facebook and Libra. But just to kind of bring things home on this topic, this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday, about the major names who are supporting Libra. And these are the ones that we know about. Apparently, there are tons of other ones who have had to sign non-disclosure agreements, or they just simply don't want their name being posted around. This leads me to believe that not only is Libra going to launch, but it's going to be very successful from the get-go. For those of you who are not looking at the screen, I'll just read out some of the air quote more important names. Andreessen Horowitz, MasterCard, Uber, PayU, Mercado Pago, Coinbase is also a partner in Libra. This is why I said before, I remember saying this years ago, the entire rhetoric behind cryptocurrencies when I first got into cryptocurrencies was decentralization, so and so and so, like money for the people, like we're only here to help. And as time has gone on, I was like, I'm pretty sure Coinbase doesn't care about decentralization anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't care about anything except for the actual money. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that wave would hit any of us if we were making billions of dollars off of digital currencies. I understand that greed is a thing, but still, it's fairly obvious that Coinbase is not the old Coinbase that they were before. Coinbase, PayPal, Calibra, and Facebook, obviously. Zappo, Spotify, eBay, Stripe, Lyft, Visa, Vodafone. I'm fairly certain that what's going to happen at this point, I've been discussing it with many friends over the last couple of days. What's going to end up happening is that when this does launch, these companies, and I'm pretty sure other companies as well, are going to have some type of an incentive for you to be able to pay with Libra. If not, rather, along with that, I'm sure they're going to give away partial fractions, pieces of Libra to their customers as well, or start offering discounts. This is exactly how PayPal got started. PayPal, nobody was using PayPal for I think about a year and some change. What ended up happening was that I think they were giving away, it was like $5 or $10 if you signed someone else up with PayPal, and this ends up getting more people in, and then eventually it started linking up with eBay and so. You guys know like the whole rest of the story, but this is exactly how things get started. And when that was just with PayPal and eBay alone, how big they got. So imagine all the major names and players in the game. Also kind of weird. I'm pretty sure maybe this is intentional, but there's like a mirror thing going on. Like Visa's here and MasterCard's here. Lyft is here and Uber's here. Where was the other one? It was eBay and PayPal, Coinbase, Spotify. There's like a big Facebook. Yeah, maybe they're doing like a bit of a mirror thing, so it looks a bit nicer. I don't know. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is going to launch. I think a lot of people don't want it to launch. I would rather if it just disappeared tomorrow. But we are, I mean, not all is gloomy. Not all is bad when this does launch. We will eventually have metrics and price metrics to be able to see the devaluation of Libra against Bitcoin, which will only show the strength of the wider cryptocurrency space. But yeah, let's move on. Next up in Why Are You Doing This? This is probably a bad idea news. The Czech Republic is expected to enforce stricter oversight of cryptocurrencies than those required by the European Union's bloc-wide anti-money laundering regulatory regime. According to a report from local newspaper, I can't pronounce that, on the 8th of August, the Czech Republic's transposition of the European Union's 5th AML Directive, AMLD5, looks set to impose yet stricter requirements on cryptocurrency firms than those established by Brussels. As an indication of the stricter measures ahead, the newspaper reveals that Czech regulators plan to impose a hefty fine of up to €500,000 on cryptocurrency firms should they fail to register their operations with the National Trade Licensing Office. Such a measure would go well beyond that which is required by the EU's 5th Anti-Money Laundering Directive, which came into force last year and established a revised legal framework for EU financial watchdogs to regulate cryptocurrencies and better mitigate the risks of money laundering and terrorism financing. I can't remember what country that it was a couple of years ago that it was some documentary. Maybe it was Slovenia. There's some country in the eastern parts of Europe that has made sure that they've lowered taxes for foreigners, that they've lowered taxes for businesses, that they've done all these things, and now it's like this super budding economy. I want to say Slovenia. Slovenia's for some reason on the tip of my tongue, but I know that there's another country that has made it incredibly easy for companies to kind of enter their space, enter their land, make sure that there aren't too many fines imposed because you forgot to sign paper. You know how much $500,000 of anything is? You know how much €500,000 is? Because you forgot to go to an office, or like you just decided to open up. And it's really weird because I've noticed that a lot of governments and tax so-and-so situations have very, I won't say stupid laws, but they're not the smartest laws out there. It kind of comes down to like, if you do something and you start selling something, and then a year later, or at the end of the year, you got to pay your taxes, and there's some sort of stipulation that you sold more than you were expected to, or that you had dipped your toes into something else, or that you had done something that was very similar to what another company had done, but you had not registered as a company, even without you knowing that you shouldn't have registered as a company, you end up getting fined. So imagine how many other entrepreneurs are out there who are trying to do stuff on their own, maybe start stuff on the side, maybe start side businesses, side hustles, if you will, something along those lines, and they realize when they're paying taxes and the tax person's like, so how'd you make this money? And they're like, well, I did so-and-so and so-and-so. That's actually a business in this country. And you go, okay, that's cool. Well, charge me as a business then. And they go, yeah, you're also being fined €500,000 because you didn't register with us. I didn't know I had to register with you. Well, you should have known. You should have known our language, and you should have known everything from the very get-go. And this is your problem now. See how it gets really weird, really, really fast? I don't know. This is going to continue. I don't know why countries do this. They're going to continue doing it. I am hoping that there are smarter countries out there who really realize how much money is going to be put into the cryptocurrency space and how much it could benefit their country. There are a lot of countries out there who could desperately benefit from the runoff of cryptocurrencies, but they seem to not really care. So the great thing about Europe is that there aren't really any borders, more or less, within the EU. So if you impose something ridiculous or stricter than the other countries next to you, you can hop on a bus and go to the next country where the laws are more favorable, and then the other country where you just left doesn't prosper economically. Anyway, here's the actual article right here. As I said before, I cannot read Czech, but for those of you who can, here you go, right there. And yeah, let's move on. And next up, in a new interview on CNBC, Jeremy Allaire, co-founder and CEO of Circle, tells host Andrew Ross Sorkin while developments in China indicate the country's hardline anti-crypto stance is softening. He said, "We have been seeing, from my vantage point, a softening in the Chinese stance towards crypto. Recently, a major Chinese court defended that Bitcoin is in fact legal property in China, which was significant. I think it happened 3 times. I think over the course of 2 years, people kept on trying to, people were suing other people. People were like, whatever the case, like literal case might have actually been. And I think one of them was that some guy, I think he was in mining with someone else. And I think they decided to take the mining machines, and he went to the court saying, hey, half of the mining machine is also mine and also the Bitcoin inside of it. And the court ended up ruling that Bitcoin was his actual legal property because he had even a written, unwritten, some type of contractual agreement with this person. But the fact that China agreed that not only was Bitcoin a real thing, that people were allowed to have it in their country, but also that it was property and therefore people have a legal right to own it, was kind of significant. He said, we've seen one of the very largest commercial banks, the Bank of China, start to do proactive information marketing about the benefits of Bitcoin, the risks of Bitcoin, but more broadly, its role in the world. For those of you who were not here last week, maybe a couple days, I'm pretty sure it was last week. The weirdest thing in the entire world is that one of the largest banks in the world, the Bank of China, released it was like a 25-page PDF talking about the how great Bitcoin is, where Bitcoin was, how high Bitcoin went, how much higher Bitcoin can go. It had happy people, it had sad people, it had angry people on it. It was just very weird that one of the largest banks in the world had decided to, especially one that has previously stated that they had a negative stance towards cryptocurrencies, would kind of come out openly and talk about the benefits of it around the world. The Chinese government banned ICOs in most forms of Bitcoin trading in 2017. It has also discouraged Bitcoin mining, driving many mining operations out of business. However, a June report from the Xinhua News Agency, China's state-run press agency, stated that Bitcoin displays the authorities of a safe haven asset, signifying a potential change in the government's outlook. Likewise, the Bank of China issued an extensive infographic last month touting the benefits of Bitcoin as a new asset class with a limited supply. The marketing material also outlines for beginners, how the payment network operates and who powers it. If you don't see where this is all going, please exit stage left. I don't know what to tell you anymore. Every single entity, corporation, every single one except for, save Warren Buffett, and maybe, I think even Peter Schiff also has Bitcoin at this point, who has come out negatively against Bitcoin, has at some point announced that they have Bitcoin or that Bitcoin's not that bad. When one of the largest banks in the world that pretty much hovers over 1.4 billion people announces that Bitcoin displays the attributes of a safe haven asset, and for those of you saw what we had last week where they were talking about the benefits of Bitcoin. It's completely insane, and this is why I hold steadfast in my belief that Bitcoin is going to be one of the greatest investment opportunities of our entire life. Also over here, for those of you who don't know, this happened a couple of weeks ago where the chairman of the Federal Reserve in the United States announced that Bitcoin is a store of value similar to gold. I think he was stating, I forgot the exact thing that he was saying. He was talking about that people around the world have started to, what's that smell? It was like nail polish or, sorry, anyway, he announced, that was really weird. He announced that pretty much that people around the world have started to buy up Bitcoin because they feel that it is a safe haven in similar ways that people also buy up gold. Governments around the world realize that we are here, that they can't do anything about it, and that crypto continues to gain steam as more time ends up. Anyway, my mind's all over the place. I was thinking of the video game platform Steam, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. The point is, sorry for being all over the place. I think I just had some sugar, so maybe that's what's doing it. I don't know what to think about China, in that every indication before the last 3 weeks has been that they were going to ban cryptocurrencies that did not care for within their country, but then releasing the cryptocurrency ratings, talking about Bitcoin being a safe haven asset, and pretty much informing, like, this wasn't something that they just put out to like banking managers. It was something that was meant for everyone in the country. And this is why, I remember the other day, I think Bitcoin's price shot up, and people were saying that they think it could have been from China. People were like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And it's like, Well, yeah, maybe because they still have over-the-counter markets there. Like the government knows exactly who's buying what and when and how much they have. But people are still allowed to buy because it's considered property in that country. And I think it would be ridiculous to think that a government as big as China that has as much control over its people as they do, that they can announce that Bitcoin is a safe haven asset. They have cryptocurrency rankings coming out every month or every 2 months. And then also releasing that weird infographic thing that they did, and that at least 100,000 people within the country wouldn't at least put a couple hundred into Bitcoin in some sort of way. Anyway, something big is happening. I like that it's happening. It's interesting that it's happening. And that's last time I'll say interesting. And let's move on. To kind of finish things off, Coinbase must face a negligence lawsuit from customers who bought BCash following its alleged botched listing on the exchange during the 2017 bull market, a judge has ruled. U.S. District Judge Vince Gabaria of the Northern District of California dismissed the plaintiff's fraud and unfair competition claims against Coinbase and the negligence claims brought by the ones who sold BCash, but he denied Coinbase's motions to move the case to arbitration and to dismiss the buyer's negligence claim, saying it is plausible that the company breached its duty to maintain a functional market. For starters, the fact that Coinbase halted trading within 3 minutes of the launch is indicative of dysfunction. The case was brought last year by Jeffrey Burke, a former Coinbase user, who accused the exchange of allowing insider trading on his GDAX platform in 2017 because BCash prices spiked right before Coinbase announced trading operations on the 20th of December. Burke, an Arizona resident, brought the case on behalf of other traders. 2 earlier versions of his complaint were dismissed. In dismissing the insider trading theory, Calabria cited a lack of causation proved by the plaintiff's price volatility arguments. Last year, the exchange hired 2 law firms to investigate insider trading allegations. They reportedly found no wrongdoing, which was kind of weird because Coinbase apparently hired some people that they also knew. And those people apparently came forward and said that nothing had gone wrong, but they were also people who allegedly were working inside of Coinbase. So for those of you who don't know, in 2017, this was a very interesting topic. First of all, Bitcoin had been source code forked before. So people had run similar coins that were based off of Bitcoin's code. Got it? This was the first time that we had anyone maliciously forking Bitcoin and keeping the name Bitcoin in their name. I've mentioned before, if this was just called Cash, no one would be using it. But the fact that it had the name Bitcoin in it drove a lot of people insane, and people became very interested in what is this new Bitcoin? How can you do this so and so and so? Because the main idea is that Bitcoin can only ever have 21 million coins. So the day that BCash was born, the price of Bitcoin slammed down, and it was a very negative moment because people realized that it could be torn in half. The magical internet money had a weakness, and it was people using its name and directly forking from it and creating another tree branch that could continue growing, if that kind of makes any sense. What ended up happening is that the larger, wider industry ignored it. It made major news. Bitcoin forked. BCash was made. Oh my gosh, okay, let's move on with business. A lot of people realized after going through coding and all this other stuff, and other wallets were announcing this, that, hey, we actually have your BCash. If you want it, you can use it, you can have it, you can so and so and so. And people were like, wow, that's cool, that's awesome, that's amazing. Wait, I'm using Coinbase. Where's my BCash? So people started messaging Coinbase and said, hey, we know that it forked. Can we have our extra money? And Coinbase was like, nope. Sorry, not going to happen. You don't really need it, and it's ours. About 3 days later, we had news of at least 50 different lawsuits that were piling up very, very fast against Coinbase. And Coinbase announced, hey, you know what? Actually, December Fools, we're going to allow you to have your BCash. Just give us a couple of days, and you can do it. They said that I forgot if they said the exact date or they wouldn't say the exact date. It was a hazy, very weird moment. But a couple of hours before, with no one knowing that they were going to actually allow the BCash withdrawals and trading and blah, 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 the price of BCash exploded. It went completely insane, and everyone was like, what is going on? And all of a sudden, Coinbase was like, hey, yeah, you can have it now. Here it goes. It's open. There you go. Ha, ha, ha. And people were like, wow, that's not super obvious. That's 6 hours before you allowed us to have it. Other people were madly selling it and or pushing up the price to be able to sell it once we had actual access to it. So then all the lawsuits started. People have lawsuits against everything. I don't know exactly how much the claim was for this. There were other claims against Coinbase. I'm not joking. That someone would maybe have, I think, 1 or 2 BCash. And they were trying to sue Coinbase for millions. So this is why a lot of the stuff gets thrown out. It's kind of the same exact thing. Remember when those people were suing Ripple? Because they, like, one guy said, I think he lost, $250, not 250,000, not 2,500. It was in the low hundreds. And he said, no, you're a security. Give me my millions. And it's like, that's not how a lawsuit works. You have to have an actual claim against them. So apparently, they will face a negligence suit over the BCash launch. They've definitely made sure that from now on, I think that they barely even tell all their employees when things are going to launch. Because of this, this is why you may have realized why Coinbase is very different than other cryptocurrency exchanges, where Binance will say, this date we're going to do this, and this one says, this date we're going to launch this. Coinbase always goes, well, we're thinking about potentially maybe having the opportunity to think about maybe one day potentially launching this on a certain date within the next 5 years. They're always very like ambiguously cloudy. They never let people know. So that's the kind of thing going on. A lot of the lawsuits that we were dealing with in the years ago from cryptocurrencies have kind of all faded. I think a lot of these people definitely have a lot more lawyers, I'm pretty sure, because of all the nonsense that has gone over the years. But this kind of ends the BCash insider trading saga. I think Coinbase has been accused of this once again for some other coin, but I think it's simply because people realize that Coinbase probably has a lot of money and they're trying to get as much as possible. But usually Coinbase has their stuff in check. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Strange Radio Central, Milweezy, Damien, Bankroll Network, Master Ventures in Thailand, Cryptopolis, 242 to the World, Triple M and J, My Keto Kitchen, Assam M. Zofri, Adobo, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Crypto Joe, More Hammeroni, Carl Burchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starchin, Jeffrey Ramsey, Clarity Snowden, Crypto. I couldn't do it. I'm trying to hold that one breath. Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Nicholas One Earth, One Piece, One Love, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Rich D, Rich III, Arv, Dusty, Vlad, The Impaler, Paxis, Tom Sucks at Basketball, and Sam Skips Leg Day, Jeremy the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, and Mechanic. Thank you all very, very much for your support at the moment. The cryptocurrency market doesn't make any sense. Bitcoin, when I woke up, was, I think, $2 away from $12,000. It looks like we could possibly hit that sometime today. Saw a couple of very weird articles, and I don't know how to take them. I should have actually had them somewhere around here. I don't even know why I didn't do that. I forgot who said it. They were talking about that. Grain of salt. I'm handing you each 1 grain of salt. They said that they believe, according to their price metrics, that Bitcoin is going to hit between $15,000 and $20,000 sometime next week. And I was like, good luck on that. I think in general, there is no real negative sentiment around cryptocurrency and or Bitcoin at the moment. So I see no real reason why the prices wouldn't continue to try and at least move back up over the next couple of days. But many other coins are still taking a hit, USD-wise and also Satoshi-wise, except for Binance Coin, which always has really weird days where it's shooting up. At the moment, at least at the time of me making this video, nothing has been announced, been declared, has come out that Binance is doing something, but this is usually indicative that we have received some type of news that Binance is launching something, Binance has launched something, Binance is integrating something, or that Binance Coin is going to be used on another platform. There's always something interesting happening with Binance Coin. So that seems to be the reason why, maybe, like I said, no real information to why it's up. But the wider cryptocurrency space, Zcash is up. Cool. Everything else is mostly just about slee in the red. A lot of coins are taking heavy hits. So I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will definitely be talking to you all soon. See you.